welcome to my channel. I'm Katie, and today I'm going to be doing a mid-February book haul. Okay, so some of the books I got are from Scholastic because I'm a teacher, so I do the Scholastic orders with my students. If you may remember these from childhood when you went to school and you would get like the Scholastic pamphlets and you give them to your teacher to order. Yeah, I do that for the kids. So I get like class credits for my class library, so I get books from Scholastic, I read them, and then I put them in my class library once I'm done. So I got 3 of them. Oh, 4 of them actually. One's on the shelf, so I'll take that down when I talk about it. I got 4 of them. So first one I got is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I don't even really know what this is about. I think it's about like 2 friends and one of them moves away and they're like high school age. Mostly I was just like, I feel like I haven't been reading a lot of like just YA contemporaries that are kind of like light fluffy. This one has pretty good ratings. I've heard good things from it from a few booktubers I follow, so I figured, hey, check it out, and then if I don't like it, it goes in my class library anyway. The next book I got was They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. I've never read an Adam Silvera book, but I've heard a whole lot about him. I know he's hyped up here on YouTube, and I love some tragic stories, so people dying in the end doesn't bother me. It usually makes me like it even more, so we'll see. Then I probably got the most hyped book on YouTube at the moment. Well, I don't know if it's the most, but it's pretty dang hyped. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm super annoyed though with Scholastic because they totally put a like shipping sticker on here and it's super thick and I'm like, great. So what I know about this story is that it is about fairies or the fae people and about a girl in the fae world. I don't know. I've heard so many synopses at this point that I'm like, okay, it's about the fae world, and I'm just trying. I don't really like to know too much going into it or have too many expectations. I know there's a little bit of mixed reviews, but overall it's super hyped, very well loved. So we'll see what I think. So I basically finally went to the used bookstore in my town, and I had never been there. Very embarrassing that I had never been there. I traded in some books, got a few dollars cash back, and I set up an account there, and they do educator discounts, so perfect. And everything was on it's $5 or less, so most books were like $2 or $3, and only like one of them was $5. So I got a lot of books for like $27, and I don't even have all of them here. Some of them are just going directly into my class library. They're like books that are like YA books that I'm not interested in, so yeah. So some of the ones I got I already actually have read, but I was like, ooh, I want a copy of that. So first, when I was looking in the Fredrik Backman section, I noticed that they had a hardcover copy of And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. I listened to this on audiobook on Scribe, so I didn't own a copy, and it was like $2. And it's just really cute. It's a novella, and I love this, and I'm gonna like keep it on our coffee table in hopes that my boyfriend will like read it. It's so good. It's so good. If you haven't recommended this, I know this is book haul, so I shouldn't be like reviewing books, but it's so good. So good. Okay, then I had already sacrificed my copy of The Great Gatsby for my class library, so I just got another one that was like $2 because I want to reread it during Rereadathon. That Murphy someday, I think she says Napier, actually. Murphy, she's hosting it in March, so I'm going to be doing Rereadathon, and The Great Gatsby is one of the books I wanted to reread because it was kind of, I don't know, I just have a deep love. I'm a history person, and I love social critiques, and I really liked it when I read it in high school, and I know most people don't like the books they read in high school. But what I loved about The Great Gatsby is more the analyzing it in class, and then I didn't even necessarily love it then, but we still, in my senior year, we go back to The Great Gatsby all the time in The American Dream, and I just think it's like worth it. Like, it gets a good rap because it's good. Okay, then I got a book that I've read most of, but I can't find the copy I had, and I don't even know where I left off at this point because it's been a long time. But I don't think I ever finished it, so I got a copy of Wuthering Heights, and this is literally the same copy I used to have, or like the same, who knows, it could be the same copy. But I like it because it has big font, and I don't have the best eyes, to be honest, so I like big font. I know I could get this, like, for free on, my Kindle, or it's not free, but it's, like, really cheap, but I wanted, like, a annotation version, because I love the Bronte sisters. Alright, so now some books that I haven't read them, but I think they're all pretty well known in the book community. So we got a classic here. We got Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Little embarrassed I haven't read it before, to be honest, so I was like, I'm gonna pick that up. It's hard for me to like, not buy a classic when I see it. I'm like, I haven't read that, I need to read it. And, like, every classic. Like, even if people are, like, universally hate it, I want to read it. Yeah. But with that said, everything I've ever read by Oscar Wilde, even, like, to the smallest quote, I just love him. So I'm sure I'll like it. Next is a very super popular graphic novel, and that is Persepolis by... I'm gonna go with Marjane. It's M-A-R-J-A-N-E. Marjane. Satrapi. Gosh, I really should have looked up how to say that, so I'm sorry to the author for not looking it up. But this takes place during the Iranian Revolution, I believe. I'm going to scratch that. This takes place in Iran, and it's a coming-of-age story. That's really all I know about it. I'm sure it won't take me that long to read it. I know my brother's read it, and he really liked it. I'm sure I'll love it. Alright, then I got a copy. I'm kind of regretting this choice, except that it was $2, so... I mean, at the end of the day, it was $2. I might just buy the ebook, but I got a copy of The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. And the only reason I'm a little bit regretting it is it has water damage, which I knew about it. And I was like, oh, I don't care. And now I'm like, I kind of do. So, I don't know. We'll see. But this is historical fiction. I've heard amazing things. It's on my TBR. I want to read this before March. So, I have like 2 weeks. Not even. So, yeah, it's actually a lot thicker than I thought. It takes place in France and during World War II. And it follows 2 sisters, to my knowledge. Then, the one book that was a whole $5. I got a copy of Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I've never read Pet Sematary. I have read The Stand by Stephen King. That's the only book by Stephen King I have read, and I absolutely loved it. I read it as a teenager, actually. I've heard amazing things about Pet Sematary, especially from Daniel Green, one of my favorite booktubers, and I just love this copy. It's from 1983, and it's just, like, so, like, 80s style. God, it's just like very 80s styled, like, I just think it's funny. Like, I love to have, like, books on my shelves that I know, like, oh, it was printed in this decade, you know? So I'm really excited to read it because, I like horror and thrillers. I just don't pick them up as much. Maybe a little bit because sometimes I feel less compelled to do a reread. But, I mean, that didn't stop me with The Stand. Not that I've reread The Stand, but, like, I would if I had the time. Like, I want to someday. I really liked it, so. Alright, then I got 2 books by Fredrik Backman that I have not read. Backman, not sure how it's pronounced. It's spelled B-A-C-K-M-A-N, but he's Swedish, so I don't know if I'm saying it right. But if you didn't know, Fredrik Backman is, like, an auto-buy author for me. I've read Beartown, Us Against You, and Every Morning the Walk Home Gets Longer and Longer, and all of them have been 5-star reads for me. I think he's one of the best writers around. I can't believe when I read his books that they're translated into English, because they're so, like, the words he picks are so important, and his language is very, like, simplistic poetry to me. And I just am here for all of his stories, and I love him. And I'm sure these two books won't disappoint. I've heard really good things. This is probably his most famous book, A Man Called, I'm not sure if it's pronounced Ove or Ove. I don't really know what it's about. All you need is Ove. At first sight, he's the grumpiest man you'll ever meet, and he's I'm already, like, here for it. I love old curmudgeons, so I'm down. So maybe it's first impressions, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. So, I don't really know, but I'll read anything by this author, so, yeah. And the next book is also by Fredrik Backman, and that is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. No idea what this is about. I'm not going to even take the time to read what it's about, but, like, it sounds like it has some, like, family history tie-in. So, sounds like something I like. I don't care. It's by Fredrik Backman. I'm sure I'm going to like it. Alright, and the last book I totally forgot about that I got from Scholastic, and I just finished reading it like 10 minutes ago, is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. Not 100% sure how to say that. Should have looked that up also. Katie's a failure. This is a YA contemporary, kind of a romance, but so much more than a romance. And I know it's a book haul, but I already finished it, so yeah, but I'm not going to review it, but this is a YA contemporary about a girl who is, she wears a hijab, she is Muslim, and she's living in America, going to high school in 2002. So if you know your history, you know 9/11 was in 2001. So life has not been nice to her in American high schools for the past year, and it kind of continues. In addition to that, we have a little bit of a more than a little bit of a romance, but a romance going on. It's a major plot point, but a lot of it has to do with stereotypes, first impressions, dealing with racism. I'm not going to review this book right now because this is a book haul, but yeah. Alright, so that was my mid-February-ish book haul. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to comment down below if you've read any of these books and liked them, or if you're planning on reading any of these. Also, let me know. Feel free to subscribe, and have a great day. Bye!